To the world, he was the golden boy, always smiling, humble in every interview, and adored by fans who believed he could do no wrong. But what if I told you that this flawless nice guy image wasn't just who he was? It was the perfect illusion he used to trick everyone watching.
1, 2, 3.
From the very beginning, Son built a reputation as the player who was simply too nice to hate. When he first arrived in Europe, fans noticed something unusual about him. He wasn't just talented, he was polite to the point of standing out. He bowed to supporters before and after games. He signed every autograph with patience, and he smiled in a way that made people feel like they actually knew him. Even opponents couldn't bring themselves to dislike him. On the pitch, when tempers flared and players shoved each other, Son often played peacemaker, stepping in with a grin or a light-hearted gesture that diffused the tension. Reporters praised him constantly for his humility, describing him as a refreshing contrast in a sport often fueled by egos and scandals. His teammates told stories of how Son was always the one cracking jokes, lifting spirits after tough losses, and making new signings feel at home. Even his celebrations stood out. After scoring brilliant goals, instead of flexing for the cameras or mocking his rivals, he would laugh, smile, or throw up a playful gesture that seemed almost apologetic, like he didn't want the spotlight only on him. And it worked. To millions of fans around the world, Son wasn't just another football star. He was a role model, a symbol of what the game should be about. But here's the catch. Sometimes the easiest way to hide what's real is to lean into exactly what everyone already wants to believe. And in Son's case, that belief was that he was simply the perfect nice guy. The more people admired Son for his humility, the more that image became unshakable. Every bow to the crowd, every polite interview, every moment where he downplayed his own success, it all added to the legend of the nice guy who could do no wrong. But when something feels too perfect, it usually is. Observers began to notice that his kindness wasn't just consistent, it was almost mechanical. He smiled through defeats, he laughed off fouls that would have infuriated other players, and he spoke in the same soft, selfless tone whether he had scored a hat trick or barely touched the ball. Teammates joked that Son was always smiling, even when things went wrong, but behind the jokes was an unspoken truth. No one can be the relentlessly positive without effort. That kind of performance doesn't just happen. It's a mask, a role that has to be maintained day after day, season after season. And when you look closer, there were moments that slipped through the cracks. Small flashes of frustration when referees missed a foul, sharp looks when a teammate ignored his run, or even his rare emotional outbursts that shocked fans because they didn't fit the image they had built of him. Was this unstoppable politeness just who he was, or was it the perfect shield? Because if you're untouchable in the eyes of fans and the media, then almost nothing you do can damage your reputation. And in Son's case, that reputation was about to be tested in ways no one expected. For years, Son's image as the eternal nice guy seemed unbreakable. But no mask lasts forever. Slowly, small cracks began to appear in the flawless act that fans had come to worship. On the pitch, there were flashes of a completely different side of him. Moments where the smile disappeared, replaced by anger and frustration. One of the most infamous examples came in 2019 against Everton, when Son lunged into a reckless challenge that left Andre Gomez with a devastating injury. Son was seen in tears after, apologizing, visibly shaken. But for the first time, the world caught a glimpse of the fact that beneath the politeness, he was capable of the same reckless intensity as any other player. It wasn't the only time. There were other moments, smaller but revealing, where the mask seemed to slip. A sudden flash of temper with referees, aggressive confrontations after fouls, or frustrated gestures at teammates when they didn't pass the ball his way. These weren't the actions of the endlessly cheerful, humble figure the media had painted. They were reminders that behind the perfect smile was a competitor with real flaws, real emotions, and a boiling point like anyone else. Fans who had once believed he was incapable of losing control were suddenly forced to rethink. Maybe he wasn't the saintly role model they imagined. Maybe, just maybe, the nice guy image had been a story everyone wanted to believe, not the full reality. And the more these moments piled up, the harder it became to ignore that the perfect act was beginning to fall apart. In the days that followed, the reactions were explosive. Some fans rushed to defend Son, saying his tears and apologies proved he was still the humble, good-hearted star they always believed in. Others weren't so forgiving. They argued that the incident revealed what had always been hiding beneath the surface: a ruthless competitor who wasn't as innocent as his image suggested. The media replayed the challenge over and over, debating whether it was just bad luck or a sign of something darker in his game. Rivals started to treat him differently too, no longer giving him the automatic pass as the too-nice-to-hate player. And for the first time, the perfect story surrounding Son was fractured. The world realized that maybe the smile wasn't the full picture, and that the role model they adored was just as capable of crossing the line as anyone else. What Son's story showed is something bigger than just one player. The truth is, the image of the nice guy can be one of the most powerful masks in the world. It creates a shield. Fans protect you. The media gives you the benefit of the doubt, and rivals underestimate you. But that same mask can also become a prison, because the moment you slip, the world feels betrayed. Son wasn't the first athlete to be caught between who he really is and who people wanted him to be, and he won't be the last. His kindness may have been genuine, but it was also convenient. It kept the spotlight on his smile instead of his flaws. And when the cracks began to show, people realized something uncomfortable: that even the nicest faces can hide intensity, anger, and darkness underneath. Because in the end, the question isn't whether Son was really a nice guy. The question is, why do we all want to believe it so badly? In the end, Son's story proves that no one is as perfect as they seem. The world wanted to believe in the flawless nice guy, but the cracks showed he was human, driven by the same fire and flaws as everyone else. And maybe that's the real twist. Son didn't just build the illusion, we all chose to believe it.